Thank you, Neelamji. Namaste. I'll just start by chanting Shabindo's Gayatri Mantra. So I'll start my topic after that. Om Tat Savitur Varam Rupam Jyoti Parasya Dhimahi Yannaha Satyena Dipayet Yannaha Satyena Dipayet Yannaha Satyena Dipayet Om. Today's topic, right attitude in work. Mother and Sharbindo has given a lot of importance on work. Integral yoga is just not about sitting silently, immersed in meditation, but engaging ourselves in the real world and doing work most of the time. Mother has also said that work is the best prayer of the body to the divine. So their ideas, their guidance centers on the principle of offering, equanimity and self-transcendence. This is the most difficult area, I think. Work is the most difficult area because we have to meet so many people other than us during work. If we are by ourselves, we can do things in a different way. But every day, if we are living with a family, there also some interaction, some work goes on as neighbors, as part of the community, as colleagues, everywhere. Some or the other way we are engaged with people, and there what should be the right attitude when we are working with different people? So let us dwell on their guidance. So work as sadhana, guided by Mother Sharbindo. Here she says all work done in true spirit is a means of coming closer to the divine. So through work you come closer to the divine if you do it in the right spirit. So now we have to understand gradually what is that right spirit. So Mother has taught that work is a field of yoga, a way to express the divine in action. Every task, big or small, can become sacred if done with the right inner attitude. The purpose of work is not outer success, but inner progress and union with the divine will. So when we approach work as sadhana, then everything becomes an offering. Offering in Sanskrit is also ahuti, given in the yagna, when you have a sacrificial fire, and then you offer things in it, like you pour ghee and other things. So work can be done like that. And then in this way, work changes us, transforms us. Now, most of the time, in spite of our remembering the divine and offering the divine, things such as ambition, pride, desire for power, or selfish aim do creep in. And as an integral psychotherapist, I have seen that we are not aware of things that happen within our subconscious mind. We may be thinking that we are doing everything for the divine, we are remembering the divine and all that. But from somewhere deep inside us, there are certain motives that are lying hidden. And we know that we carry so many sanskars. Sanskars are nothing but a bundle of habits, way of being, way of thinking, way of feeling, all those beliefs. We are carrying for many, many births. And so when we take the new birth, we somehow carry that baggage. Now everyone has a very different baggage. Some may have a very heavy baggage, a complex baggage, some may have a very simple one. But all of us, we carry that. So part of our yoga sadhana is to become aware of what comes from within. Now, here this quotation says that remembering the divine during work, feeling the divine's presence and surrendering of the ego are vital to making work spiritually effective. So we should do work without ego, pride, desire, personal gain. Now all these things we know, we understand. But unless we are vigilant, something may creep in. Just as you always try to keep your house clean, but nevertheless, sometimes you do see ants, flies, or any. So the cleaning work has to go on every day, and vigilance has to be there every day. And there are certain signs. People ask me, how do we know that we are doing for the divine and not for ourselves? How can we understand that our pride or our desire or our ego has come into it? Because many people say that we are doing japa also while doing work, and they do it. So the sign through which we can know that nothing of the ego has come into our work is when, after doing the work, we do not feel any kind of uneasiness. We do not feel, not only the negative part, like you don't feel happy or you don't feel enthusiastic. But I recently read in the essays of the Gita that the kind of mental satisfaction that you have, oh, I did this work very well, I did this perfectly, even that is not right. Because you never did it. You see, in one of the quotations, Sri Aurobindo says that all that is done through you and by you is done by the divine Shakti, the mother. The energy is hers, the force is hers, the consciousness is hers. And so, when you take a mental satisfaction in a work, you take that little credit in a very subtle way. You see, our ego is so very smart and so subtle, and it just creeps in, I think it's also very smooth and silvery like that earthworm. If something big comes, we know, but if a small earthworm comes and crawls into your room under your carpet, we will not be able to know that. So, the negative feelings we can understand very well. But these are the feelings of having mental satisfaction, patting oneself on the back and says, oh, this was wonderful, I did a very good job. Even that is not allowed. So instead, Sri Aurobindo says that when you are in union with the divine, whether you work or sleep or eat or walk, anything, a kind of deeper joy and bliss should be part of your life. A deeper joy and bliss which is above the mental satisfaction and some taking a subtle pride and having the work done. So maybe in the yoga of self-perfection, it is not how you actually do the work skillfully, but the perfection comes when the sense of your doership completely goes away. Now, this is not easy for anybody, but this should be our constant focus, that we vigilantly try to find out what makes us feel rather down or up or excited or satisfied when we do work. And when you understand that you are working for the divine. See, most of us, we know, we feel, we remember that I work for the divine. But it becomes difficult for us sometimes to accept the results of the action. Because none of us would like our actions to fail. We would like that whatever we do should succeed. Also, we feel that whatever we do should make other people happy. this is, I think, one of the greatest obstacles. This is something which is very difficult for us humans, that if we do something in the right spirit, in the right attitude, in the right way, but people around us are dissatisfied, they are complaining, they don't like it. Now there, I think the greatest test comes, that are you pleasing others, or are you pleasing yourself as an instrument? These are very, very tough questions that we have to ask ourselves. So both things are wrong. To do things to please others is also not right, and also to please ourselves is not right. So it takes a lot of practice and sincerity and vigilance to take note of an act of consecration. Next quality that we have to acquire is equality and detachment. So we have to do work with care and efficiency, but without attachment to the result. I think I read somewhere that as an instrument, you need not have any choice that I like to do this work, therefore I should do it. This work is difficult, so I should not do it. A very choiceless way of doing whatever comes. Because ultimately the outer work do matter, but the inner attitude of doing for the divine matters more. Whether it is, like in the ashram, mother used to give to great scholars and philosophers and writers and all to work in the dining hall and clean the tables and all that. And when mother was there, people, gladly used to bow down to her and obey her. And their added advantage, as I see it, was that they get to meet the mother, to have the darshan of the mother also. But this is so very difficult that, I have such and such a degree, I have got such skills, do I have to work like this? So then there is one example that somebody gave, that you have so many vessels in your kitchen. You have so many spoons that you use, big one to serve. Not attached to which vessel it is put to serve. One day the spoon may serve dal, one day the spoon may serve kheer also, sweet. So the spoon is a spoon. It says, it does not feel attached that I should be given this item only to serve. So the stage at which we all have to reach is the stage where all these things do not matter, but a constant remembrance that we are working for the divine. And that alone brings equanimity. And of course the result should never be our concern. Our calm and balanced attitude is crucial. We should be unmoved by success, failure, joy or grief. And work should be done without attachment to results, egoistic motives or personal ambition. Now we have to learn from the life of Mother and Sri Aurobindo to understand all these things. Mother and Sri Aurobindo has always said that do what you think is right based on the highest level of your consciousness at that moment, from the summit of your consciousness. So we are always evolving, like we are not what we are today. We were not there 2 years back, 5 years ago. Now we will be next few years. If we are very conscious, we do gradually evolve. My best version, my best consciousness, my highest level of awareness. So if I work from there, I can. And I have seen that if you really, sincerely say that, Mother, may thy will be done and not mine. In utmost sincerity, if you say that, I think all of us do get the indication of what is right. If we really in some quieter moment sincerely say that, Mother, may thy will be done, then she will help us to find out what is that right action that we should do, what is that right words that we should speak, what is that right feeling that we should have for others. So there is a lot of mixture in our thinking and our feeling. But when we want to do the right thing, something comes. And I think you all remember that when India was fighting for the freedom, there were many instances where the disciples of Sri Aurobindo told him that you please intervene, please do something, and he had withdrawn from politics. But that famous Cripps proposal came, which if had been accepted by the Congress party would have avoided the partition of the country. If Cripps proposal had been accepted. So Sri Aurobindo sent Mr. Doraiswamy to offer his view, and telling the president of the Congress party of that time that please accept this proposal. And as we know that they refused, and we know what happened later on. So then after some time, somebody asked Sri Aurobindo that you must have known what will be the outcome of your sending Mr. Doraiswamy over there. And Sri Aurobindo said that yes, I knew, but I had to do the right thing. Not these very words, but I had to do the right thing. So even in some of the thoughts and aphorisms, they say that failures also have its place in history. It shows brightly where the signpost and which were missed. At least they show that. So I think if that veil goes out of our mind, which clouds, if we think that it's a difficult task or we are not going to succeed, and let us do what everyone feels is right for this moment, then perhaps we are not doing what the divine wants us to do. There are some people who come to do work which may only begin and never end. There are some people who come to build certain work. There are some people who come to destroy certain structures which are old. So those people having that Rudra Shakti will, go and demolish things. Others would come to build it. So there are various forces and powers in the world which act through human beings. So different people come charged with different mission and they do different work. And what we have to learn is you must learn to feel the divine force acting through you and to become a conscious instrument of the divine will. So all our education, all our training, all our experiences normally tells us that don't be different. Go with the flow. Be what the family believes. Do what the society believes. Do everything that is in conformity with people. But a time may come or an occasion may come where you may have to do things differently. And there you need that inner conviction to do the right thing. So the right attitude includes sincerity, working not for personal satisfaction, ambition or recognition, but for inner growth and to express the divine consciousness. And in doing so, we do make mistakes. It is not uncommon and we should not feel bad making mistakes. But all the mistakes or the difficulty or the failure should be used as a means of self-correction and progress. Now the difference between the ordinary person or those who do not follow any spiritual path and the ones who try to follow the spiritual path, this is the great difference. I've always found the main difference between these two categories of people is that the one who wants to progress on the path of the divine always self-introspects, tries to correct oneself and humbly accepts the failure either to his own self or in front of the divine, or if necessary, may say in a very humble and sincere way to the people around that, well, I thought this would be like this, but it's not happening. So I can change myself, I can improve myself. And work is one thing that serves as a mirror to reveal the defects in one's nature. And it offers an opportunity for purification and self-improvement. And the best field is work to overcome ego. Doing work alone is relatively easy. Doing work with others, bringing unity. And I think most of you sitting here working at the center know this very well than anybody else. So the focus should be on doing the work with care, thoroughness, sincerity and perfection. Okay, now joy and perfection in work. Joy is something that comes when you do without any worry, without any anxiety, without any agitation, without any pride. So, how do we bring joy? If I think that when you can live in the moment, you can live in joy. If you dwell on the past or you think about future, joy goes away. The very moment of doing the work, if you are connected in that moment with the work, you can feel joy. And with joy comes peace and creativity. You can do it in the best way, the same work that you are doing, if you are joyful, you are peaceful, and then something within you will give you good ideas. I have told many people who come to me and say that, oh, I did some work in my office with such sincerity, I worked late night, I worked hard, but I was not rewarded in doing so. And it's a thankless job that I'm doing. And because it is thankless, I'm getting tired. And this expectation of getting thanks or rewarded or appreciated or recognized was actually tiring that person. So here, then I said that only one way to overcome this kind of fatigue and this kind of disappointment is to shift the focus for whom you are doing work. So once you shift that focus, that helps you in directing yourself. Because it is not the body that gets tired. It is the mind that thinks, or rather overthinks. Overthinking is one of the greatest difficulty in modern times. 99% of the clients who come for counseling complain of overthinking, because they go over one or the other issue over and over and over again. So I have to tell them that, see, you have tried your best, right? You may have made mistakes or you may have done it imperfectly. Can't you forgive yourself? So one has to forgive oneself also to go forward. You can't beat yourself. I could have done it right, I could have done. One has to accept one's limitation as well as, okay, next day I'll try to do better. Sri Aurobindo has said that to go over and over again a work that is done is a waste of energy, waste of consciousness, waste of time. Yesterday you did something, it was not perfect. Today, instead of doing today's work perfectly, you are constantly thinking of how I could have done yesterday's work well. So that is totally waste of time, energy, consciousness, everything. Forget it. And there are other things also. We know that in Sri Aurobindo's yoga, we learn about various planes and parts of our being. Each one has some parts which are very clear, very perfect, harmonized, strong. The other parts are slightly weaker, imperfect. Somebody's mind may be very sharp, but the vital could be a little dull, or the physical having a little bit inertia. Some people's vital is very strong, but there is no clear thinking power. Some people are very enthusiastic at the physical level. Let's do this, let's do that, lifting up things and doing hard work and all that. But they might be lacking in other areas of clarity. So what I mean to say in short is that everyone should focus on which part of their being is the best and gradually work on the part that is a little bit weaker. And there are many stubborn parts in us. Some people have very rigid thinking. Some people have a very, rigid vital ego, which will never accept a failure, which will never try to cooperate with others. They would have their own way. So there are various questions asked by these sadhaks to Mother and Sri Aurobindo. And we are so fortunate that almost on every topic they have answered. So Sri Aurobindo says that you should not worry about the part that is changing slowly. Just focus on the part that is enlightened and try to go within and find your true self and your true station over there. This I have found it very useful. I am saying in my own words that to locate one's center of consciousness within, stable, rooted within the true consciousness is the best and the safest way to live and work among people. If you are centered within, you see we have these barometers to measure temperature. We have GPS when we go out, whether we are going right, left, here and there. So this kind of a GPS, if we can activate within us, that kind of a barometer that we can activate within us, which tells us where is my consciousness at this very moment. Am I in the mind overthinking? Am I in my emotional, vital, feeling this or that, sad, depressed, excited, or cheerful? Or where am I? Am I thinking about my body? Oh, I have these aches and pains, or I have this problem, or whatever. Where is the pointer? Where is the location of my consciousness? And as soon as you start reflecting on that, you can shift it and bring it to the center. Bring it to the center. And Mother said that there is a fire deep burning within you. There is a flame of the divine, the spark. Offer to that spark. And this, helps very quickly to become peaceful, to become harmonized, and again find the joy. So instead of focusing on one's defect, if we can detach from the part that still is not so much transformed or so much into the light, we can use the parts that are obedient to the light, those who follow the teachings or remember, and then focus on that part. That helps quite a lot. And this is one thing that we can all try to practice to locate the center of our consciousness. So I'm just reading the last line. The right attitude also means care, order, and precision in whatever is done. Every detail, if done consciously, becomes a way to express beauty, harmony, and consciousness, the divine qualities in material life. One interesting way of remaining in joy and cheerfulness is to look at the flowers. Every day, if you go to the garden, you look at the flowers and you see how joyfully they bloom, how joyfully they exist with different flowers. And that spontaneous joy, that spontaneous happiness, we too can experience. So somebody also said that don't be too serious in life. You see, there are so many things to be corrected. Corrected within you, corrected outside. It's an endless work which is going on from millennium and it will go many millions of years. You do your part. Remain free and cheerful. You know, flowers teach us to be just spontaneous, joyful, enjoy the moment. And birds also teach us. They dip themselves into water and mud, and when they come out, they just flap their wings and they fly away. So after every task, can we not flap our wings and just shake it off? If you can just shake it off, you know, whatever we have done, whatever, and we become lighter and we can fly. So there are certain things which are within reach, but we take, you know, life very seriously, work very seriously, and we sort of move with a sort of a pressure. All of us are in pressure. Even when we are doing voluntary work, we are in pressure. Right, Neelaji? सही है ना? वॉलंटरी वर्क करते हैं फिर भी प्रेशर हो जाता है. इसी या कोई बॉस नहीं है, कोई सैलरी नहीं है, पर तब का क्या होता है? This expectation from our own self. There is no expectation from anybody else. Our own self only. So रोज यही सीखना है, how to lessen our baggage, how to lessen our this thing, and to just fly and be and go about that. As you read in my, you know, little profile, yeah, I work as a mental health advisor in a company, and the mentor, you know, of that company is a yogi. He guided us how we can work well for the divine. And he says that consider yourself very lucky to have been given the opportunity to work. At the same time, know that the work is endless, that this is a temporary world. No? यहाँ पे नश्वर है सब चीज, आज है कल नहीं है. तो एक हम जब सुनील दा का म्यूजिक सुनते हैं तो उसमें भी एक मंत्र आता है, त्वमेव सत्य नित्य त्वमेव केवलम, परमोच्च प्रभु, त्वमेव सत्यम नित्यम केवलम. हाँ, तो this should, you know, put all our mind and heart into place. हम जिसमें भी engage होते हैं, whatever work we are doing, we are engaged. It's not at this moment 100% satya or nitya. We do our bit, but then we come to that part which is satya, nitya or keval, and that should gather us. Work हमें बिखर देता है, disperse कर देता है. We get scattered in our consciousness because work demands energy from our body, from our mind and our vital. So when we disperse, when we use our energy, we get dispersed. Then we have to come together for meditation, and then we focus on what is true, right, stable within us. Now, after years and years of practice, people come to that stage where while they do work, then also they are not scattered. They don't get dispersed. Their consciousness does not get divided even there. They become wholly one, gathered within themselves, and that take that gathered self into whatever they do. एक दूसरा एग्जांपल देती हूँ कि मैग्नेट का टुकड़ा होता है. हम लोग ने सबने स्कूल में वो एक्सपेरिमेंट किया है. मैग्नेट का टुकड़ा है और वो छोटे से आयन फाइलिंग्स जो होती है उधर रखते हैं और वो तुरंत उसको पिकअप कर लेता है. तो हमारे अंदर जो स्टेबिलिटी है, the consciousness of the soul, the purusha, it's like that. If we can energize that, if we can activate that, if we can meditate on that presence, as soon as that presence is awakened, it will take away all the scattered parts of our consciousness within oneself. It will just take it. And that mentor, he works 24/7 non-stop. And he perhaps may take few minutes of rest. He says constantly I get energy. How? Because I work from that deeper part in connection with that. And Mother said that when you work for the divine, you will never get tired. Mother has also said that. So I saw that person exactly following the Mother's teaching in life and showing the way how it can be done. So we learn from people, we learn from how they work, and when we don't take ourselves too seriously, we don't take the world too seriously, we do not take unnecessary pressure, then perhaps we too can be lighter every day and we can work. So collaboration and harmony is a chapter of this point, that we can collaborate with the divine only in that state of peace and quietude within us. We can't collaborate if we are scattered, if we are disturbed, if we are doing with any other emotion than the one which requires to be us to be sincere, devoted, happy and joyful. Do your work quietly and cheerfully with perfect faith in the divine. And yes, this is so important for us. We find it very difficult, to avoid restlessness, gossip or complaint. Instead, cultivate inner silence, concentration, peaceful efficiency. True work comes from an inner voice, where energy flows from above, not from vital excitement. This is something to be, contemplated. That energy must flow from above. Vital excitement, तो हमको थका देता है.
That will come and go.
It will come and go. It exhausts us. No, it's like a petrol that we fill in our vehicle. We run the vehicle and it gets exhausted. So the energy that we take from outside, from food or from other things, it's like that. So mutual understanding, collaboration are important, and rising above personal preferences and ego-driven conflicts allows for harmony and better alignment. We have to rise above that. Yes. So, how can we maintain an inner connection with the divine while working? It requires vigilance and openness to the divine spokes. We have to dedicate each work to the divine. We have to cultivate calmness, acceptance, to have equanimity. We must self-reflect and use every situation to make progress. Mother has said about progress that everything, every moment you can, learn. Failures teach you perhaps more than success. And even difficulty. I just had that message yesterday, I think in one of our groups, that whenever you have a difficulty, if you face it in the right spirit, then you advance a little more. So difficulties also can become great opportunities for growth. And collaboration between each other, and to concentrate, stay focused on the divine presence. So the practical application, as I have just discussed so far, that we have to adopt so many things. Concentration, flexibility and adaptability, moderation and balance. Work done spontaneously and with joy is more effective and fulfilling. So work is important, but the most important aspect of integral yoga is growth of consciousness. So growth of consciousness can happen through work, in silence, in having knowledge, everything. If we constantly only immerse ourselves in work, we throw outside ourselves more and more. Unless while doing work we are gathered within. So for us, both are essential, to work as well as sit back and reflect. And this is over. And if you all want to share something, or ask or discuss, you're welcome.
Remember the incident about the Crips mission?
Yes.
Sharvina said Nishkam Karma.
Nishkam karma. Yes, I remember that. Yes.
This constant remembrance is not there all the time.
Yeah.
It goes off again,
You have to
something
do it.
happens, then again we recall.
Yes.
So how to cultivate that?
Yeah. It only comes by practice.
I think so, yeah.
You know, there are different things can be adopted by different people. For example, before you start working,
And then,
suppose you're working with your hands. Suppose you're arranging the books. You can just start by a little seconds of withdrawing back, and you say, these hands are the mother's hands. So it's not my hands that's putting the books, mother's hand is putting. And also, if you can cultivate, a sort of drawing backwards and seeing yourself working.
drashta kind of.
Drashta, a witness. If you can develop the witness, you see yourself working. A part of you stands apart and watches you. So the part that watches you can be in remembrance or japa or whatever, some sort of a consciousness. So little by little you can practice. Like say first day you can only do for 10 minutes. And then you become aware and then you again rejoin. So initially the connection may come and go. But then when you can develop the witness attitude, it remains for a longer time. There are many psychological processes that each one has to do for oneself. That God is disconnecting you from remembrance. It's some sort of impatience.
Getting engrossed in the.
Engrossed. Yeah.
So same tool can be used for overthinking or witnessing.
Yes. You have to, sometimes sit with yourself and, writing down what am I overthinking about? Which is that loop of thought which keeps my mind occupied. So inevitably you will find some reason that I'm overthinking about, the reactions of others, or I'm overthinking about my inefficiency or efficiency. I'm overthinking about whether I'll be able to fulfill the target or not. See, different people have different areas or thoughts where they overthink. So you have to find out where your mind goes on into that loop. And then use your willpower to stop that overthinking. You have to give yourself suggestion. No more overthinking, no more thoughts. I don't want it. It's not needed. So forcefully put that down. So the witness attitude is the first thing that we can do for our progress to, see ourselves doing. In silence we can witness that we are thinking. You see, the fact that we know that I am thinking means at that moment you are not in your mind. You are stepping back and you can observe your mind. These are my thoughts. When you can say that, oh, I am sad or I am happy, it means that you are not there, you are slightly stepped back and you know that what you are feeling. So that stepping back where you can observe yourself thinking, observe yourself feeling, then at some point of time you will be able to see yourself acting also. And then when that division becomes a very permanent kind, then you can, gradually shift and control the activities. You can't do it while you are immersed in your Prakriti. You have to withdraw to the Purusha consciousness, the soul consciousness. And in that detachment, you will be able to efficiently become aware and become master of Prakriti. Because when you are aware of your thoughts, you are able to stop certain thoughts from coming. You are able to stop certain things from coming out of your mouth. You can say, okay, I'm thinking this, but I should not speak like this. You can also stop certain feelings from bursting out, say anger. People have to learn to control anger, irritation. So if that awareness comes, then you can control. Because that controlling consciousness, that is the inner consciousness. In the outer, you are totally helpless because the different forces around you tosses and pushes you around. But as soon as you go within, you gain mastery. So these are the stages in yoga. Drashta, Sakshi, Anumanta, and then Swami. These are the stages where you gradually become more and more aware and in control. So for science of living also, Mother has said, to know oneself is to control oneself. Why do we need to know ourselves? Why do we need to know our mind or vital or body? So that we can control it. So that it can go by what the divine consciousness in us wants to go about. So yoga is about, having union with that divine consciousness so that the Prakriti from in which we are entangled, our consciousness is entangled, can become free. And then when it becomes free, then the inner Purusha will help to transform the Prakriti. Unless you observe, unless you see what has to be transformed, it cannot be transformed. So you go within, you observe, you see, you offer, you call for the help, and then it is only and only by the Mother's force and grace that your Prakriti will change. It's not by your own effort only, never. It is so complex. Yes?
You said consciousness. You were talking about the consciousness. You said at any given point in time you can observe where your consciousness is, and then you bring it back to your
True consciousness.
Your center of consciousness is what you said. Now I can identify where my consciousness is at any point in time. Now bringing back to the center of my center of consciousness. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know which is the center point of my consciousness.
Yeah, you see, Mother has said that you have to concentrate on the flame within. It is here, behind, but where is the position of the psychic being? It is the innermost part, behind the emotional heart. So you can locate the center here, totally here.
That is where the consciousness also is.
Consciousness is everywhere. I'm saying the innermost presence of the divine is there. So you have to close your eyes and visualize a spark, a flame within. So from wherever you are, you bring your mind, your thoughts. You see, there are various ways in which you can bring. These are known as your own tools, your own keys, your own passwords. So some of us can say Om Shanti and come within. Some may say Sharvind Sharnam Mama, Ma Meera Sharnam Mama, Om Namo Bhagavate. You can use anything, any mantra, any thought, any visualization. You have to find out your own tool, your own keys to come to your center. Apart from that, I'll give you one more practical suggestion that it is easy in the initial stages to come to your own body. You see, when you are scattered, your consciousness is scattered, you are not aware of your body in a very conscious way. So when you're disturbed, agitated, anxious, and you want to gather yourself, take these two hands of yours and you start tapping. Or you may use a mantra. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, or any other mantra. If you start with your two hands, you start tapping from top to bottom. In 3 minutes, you will at least come near to the center. Because you come to your body. Body is the first level where you can become conscious of yourself, because it is the stable thing. At least physically it is the stable thing. While the vital is very fluid, volatile. The mind is also like wind scattered. But the body is stable. So come to your body. Come to your body consciousness. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the soil or the ground in your feet. Feel your hands. Touch your body parts and say that. So that first level, at least you come to yourself. Then you close your eyes and then you start breathing. The next level, second level is breathing. You become conscious of your breathing. You breathe in and out. Conscious breathing. Equal breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4. You do that. And then your mind gets quiet. Your emotions get quiet. And then you can plunge it.
And also one more questions for you.
Yes.
See, in workplaces, we on a daily basis we deal with people with what you call ego.
Yes.
Vital ego, you said.
Yes.
On a daily basis we deal with
Yes.
such people.
Yes.
Then it becomes so, it drains out our energy and it's very tiring when
Yes.
you have to deal with things on a daily basis.
Yes.
How do we deal with that?
You have to see what is provoking your vital ego. You are getting provoked. They have their vital ego. You will get provoked because you will, if you are in that level, then you will also get disturbed. You have to be at a different level than their level. Then you will not get disturbed. So all sensitivity comes from vital emotional and vital ego. So you don't remain there. You go to a silent place in your mind. You go to a silent place in your heart. And you just remember quietly. You see, just an example that if you are going on the road and there is a mob coming and shouting and pushing and all that. So either if you are not in control, you will get pushed by the mob and you may fall down and get hurt. As soon as you see a mob coming, shouting, protesting, you can just go in the side of the road and just observe, wait till the mob passes away. So saying nothing, remaining quiet and stable, just observing. It may look as if you are losing, you are weak. It may look, but for you what matters? Not the look, not the appearances, not what people perceive you as, but what you think and you feel you are within yourself. So if you feel I'm quiet, reacting to the anger in anger, reacting to any other comments in that way makes you weaker. It may appear that, oh, you were strong, you gave back equally. Your colleagues may say, good, you said that. But here, you want to follow the ordinary life, well, that is the way. You want to follow the sadhana way, the spiritual path, then that is not your way. So people following the inner progress path are misunderstood by people. They are taken as weak and all that. But for us, our goal is not to appear or to seen as strong. Work, office, everything is a means for our living. Our main life, our main job, our main mission is to realize the divine and make our path. And many people, have given up, competition in their jobs, given up proportions, given up so many things because it may require them to be more scattered and more going down in their consciousness. So they have prioritized that Well, my job is for my sustenance, I need it, but then my priority is within for a different purpose at home. So that's how.
What is the best prayer to the divine? Is it sufficient? Special prayer is not necessary.
See, whichever prayer helps you to connect it to the Divine Mother, that is best for you. You see, no one before the Mother said in these words. That does not mean we should not aspire and pray through our own prayers. But when we can make work as a prayer, then we have conquered a big thing. I mean, because that is not so easy to do that. So, whichever makes you connect. I mean, there are so many people in the ashram who say that we don't sit for silence, we don't go to the samadhi every day, but while working, we are in contact with the Mother, and for us, that is our way. So fine, with everyone, it's different. What helps you in connecting with the Mother and what helps you to remain cheerful in connecting with her? Because as soon as you connect, you become a different person.
How do we address this point of procrastination?
Willpower. That means your will is weak. Your will is weak. It's all wishing. People who procrastinate are always wishing. वो शेख चिल्ली के सपने देखते हैं. ये करेंगे, वो करेंगे, यहाँ जाएंगे, करते कुछ नहीं है. So you have to move away from the wishing zone to the willing zone, and that is insincerity. Now you have to introspect. Insincerity कहाँ है? Body में है. The body doesn't want to get up and do the work, or the vital is not giving that energy, that enthusiasm, or the mind is foggy, or all three. That you have to find out. So everything, this yoga is so very interesting and so very precise and sharp. It's like a surgical knife, I have found. Sharmindo's yoga. It's like a surgical knife. It will find out the stone in the kidney or the gallbladder, wherever it is, or the brain. Chota se chota. It'll help you to dissect the layers of your own being. It helps you to dissect your outer layers. It helps you to dissect the inner layers.
That's
So
why
there's a
so much
whole.
importance was given to different parts of the body.
Yes. So पहले तो हम बाहर का समझते हैं, like my outer body, my vital, my mind, surface. Then comes the whole region of the inner mind, inner vital, inner mental. What goes on within? What shapes our beliefs, what influences our choices, our habits. That whole field of the inner mind, inner vital. And then there's all this other environmental consciousness and all that layers of consciousness. And as you keep on, peeling off the layers, you come to that. And that also I used to discuss with friends, that this is kind of a surgery that you do to your own self without anesthesia. It's a ruthless surgery you have to do for your own self.
No, but you find quite interesting, you get to know yourself so.
You get to know yourself. And there's nothing more interesting, rather than knowing about what other person is doing, just go sit with yourself.
Practical ground is there.
Yes. And all that we do helps us. Because when we are doing this surgery, we are pushing more and more light into it. The parts that were darkened, the parts that were obscure, gets the light. As soon as the inquiry goes, inquiry is like a torchlight. It shows. What you do with what you see is your own business, but it helps you to probe deeper and deeper, find.
If we say that we are for the role of the divine works through us. So when things have to happen, it will happen. So there is a point of procrastination, sincerity coming there. Is it that the time has not come for something to happen?
Yeah.
Divine is just waiting for those things
Yeah,
to
yeah,
fall
yeah.
in place. Because if you
Yeah.
are aware of that,
Yeah, you see, it's your own. I mean, you only can say whether you are procrastinating or you are doing it and waiting for the results. No one else can say that for you. So there is one of my favorite lines from Savitri that says, "My light shall be in thee, my force thy strength. Let not the impatient titan drive thy heart. Only one boon to greaten thy spirit demand, only one joy to raise thy kind desire. Above blind faith and the antagonist powers, moveless there stands a high unchanging will. To its omnipotence leave thy work's result. All things shall change in God's transfiguring hour." Thank you.